Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Let's just pop you onto this screen. Hopefully you can all see me. Do let me know if you can. I think you'll probably be able to. That's my guess. Well, today we're going to be talking, and in fact changing, a little bit of imagery that's in Star Trek Armada 3 Nemesis. I've noticed a couple of bits and bobs that I've been meaning to change for a while, but quite simply haven't got around to it. Do you know what? No one can see me. Should we try and fix that? I think if I do that... Hey! There you go, you should be able to see me now. Sorry, probably not looking great, it's been a long day. But there we are. Yes, so what we want to do is we want to change a little bit of iconography. The first thing I'll do is I'll open up Star Trek Armada 3. Hey, Reggie. And we'll just take a look. I'll show you the piece of an iconography that I would like to change today. And then we'll get on with how we do it. So this is, I suppose, a light introduction to some more coding. I did some, I think, about a week ago, and I thought I'd show you something a little bit different this time. As we go along, I'll probably do periodical episodes of this, which shows you different aspects of coding and other bits and bobs. Right, we are in-game here. Let's see if we can maximize it without breaking it. It doesn't necessarily like going from mini to maxi. I think I've actually probably just broken it. Oh, yeah, I have. oh, yeah, there we go. Fine, Sins, fine. You see if I care. Sins doesn't necessarily like going from windowed into full screen. Let's reopen her. Yeah, got a little bit overzealous there. If you let it settle down for about 5 seconds in developer mode in windowed and then go in, the game does hate resizing it. I know it's surprising that they didn't finish that in the last patch, but change that in the last patch. But there we go. We can't expect them to do everything, and they've done a hell of a lot of good things for modders already. So, do you know what? I'll let it go. Right, let's just move it a bit, and then we'll try and maximize. Yeah, that seems fine now. It's decided that it wants to play ball. I'm okay with that. I can cope with that. Right, so there's a few things that I've done over the last day or two, which are probably going to be a little bit helpful. First thing I'll do is I'm just going to go into the menus here. My God, the sounds are loud. That's why. Let's move those down. And the UI volume significantly down. Right, good. If we look at effects, some of these details here were incorrect. Now, we're kind of working on a bit of an older build, if you like. So some of these were a little bit wrong. Let's just apply those changes and see if it wants to play ball. It should do. It tends to behave itself quite well. There we go. Yep, there we go. That's changed to the nicest graphic settings. But yes, I just had to update these in the strings. I'll show you how to do that in probably another episode. I've done a little bit of that in the last one, I think. Did I change the sound? Let's move it down a little bit further, I think. There we go. All right, let's go back. So, if I go in-game, now I was playing as the Cardassians earlier, and I noticed a couple of icons, one specific icon that I really want to change. So let's go into game, remind myself of what it is, and then we'll take a look at how STA3 does its icons. Now, as you probably all know, we've got a hell of a lot of individual icons in STA3. I'll show you those as well, or at least some of them in kind of a large sheet format. And yeah, it's going to be quite fun. So, has everybody had a nice day while this loads up? Has it been pleasant for everyone? Ooh, coffee, magnificent stuff. This is what keeps a coder going. Hey, Viking. I was talking to you not an hour ago. Come on, game. Is he running too many things at once? There we go. Right, we've got the... I think I've told you before in a different one, but this is an expected error. This says, research window, grid point not valid, see research AI speed build. Now what this is effectively telling us is that Grid point not valid means a human player couldn't see it if he was trying to research this particular research. Now, this particular research is way down there, about like 10 foot below the screen, because it's for the AI. So that's how we've hidden it from a human player, so they can't make use of that. Right, let's skip that one. We've got 2 of them. It's AI Speed Build 2. And now we should get into the game. So one thing that we do in developer mode for Sins is we always play developer mode with errors on. It's a choice that we made quite early on in our development, and it means that we've been able to eliminate, well, we're very fortunate in the respect that we've been able to eliminate most errors in the game. Well, at least most errors that the game thinks is a problem in the game. There are a lot of errors that would show up here that aren't necessarily game-breaking or a problem to the game. There are some other mods that use mechanics that we don't, which have these errors pop up, and they're not actually a problem. They're intended because of the way that the abilities of the buffs are made. But anyway, we'll get into that another time. Right, if I go to research, this is the problem, the veteran gunnery staff. So as you can see, that is a Klingon icon. You can see it's got the outline of a Klingon style icon, and it's wrong. And we don't like that. So we're going to change that. While I'm here, yes, I know. I'm just going to look at a couple of other bits and bobs. You may remember me making, I've got a string error there as well, which I need to fix. I've spelt Gelaxu wrong last time. What if I get a massive TV to play on to access the research? It might work. I'll tell you what, Arielus, you tell us, Arielus, if that works for you. I don't think it will, but if it does, I ain't even going to be mad. You can have the AI research. Right, yeah, I did put a couple of extra icons in here. You can see the Arantha and the what should be Gelaxu class, but it's Gelaxu because I'm an idiot. Those have now got icons, whereas they didn't before. Let's just keep looking through, make sure that there aren't any other unintended icons. No, I think we're okay, actually. Military Academy doesn't really matter. Yeah, all looks good. So that's the only icon that we really need to concern ourselves with in the short term. I'm quite pleased about that. Quite surprised as well. Maybe what I should potentially do, which I think I will do actually while we're at it, is I'm going to look at pressing Control, Shift and Dot. We can go to Change Galaxy, we can go to Overrides, which is AB, and we're going to go with No Slot Restrictions, which is F. We are going to go with Instant Build Times, which is D. They're now activated, so we can use those. We'll come back, and we can press D to change player, and then we're going to give ourselves a load of resources. And why will become clear in a moment. Okay, so we've got instant build times, we've got a load of resources, we're auto-saving. Let's just grab our social research. Oh god, it's my voice. There we go. We've got 8 labs now with the social research, so all of these things should be unlocked. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hover over each one as I go. Yeah, that's fine. Fine. Good. Now you can see that there are different states for each of these. Now, if I was to, say, looking at this particular one here, this is its normal state, and then we hover over it, it kind of gets a little bit brighter, zooms in, and then if we press down, it changes into a different colour again. And if it's unavailable, as you can see, it's a different colour once more. So there are 4 different states for each of these buttons. There we go. So, right. Anyway, I'm quite happy with that. I think we've got the icon that we want that was broken. What I might do is I might, before we carry on, just smash a load of these out. And I'm going to do all of our command structure research just for the Cardassian Union. So if we choose Divided Loyalties and Cardassian Union, we'll then be able to research all of this kind of behaviour. Yes, 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 one of those. I'm sure we've got 8. Oh, we've only got 6. I only made 6. There we go. Right. You're going to have to excuse my background, our scientist's voice. It's driving me absolutely mental. Right, these don't matter, actually. They're not ship unlocks. But we've got all the ship unlocks. There's Gul Damar. Oh, no. We have a 4th ability on this. Quickly, skip all. This is a bit of a problem with this because what you'll find is this can't be set up over Action Capital Ship Ability 4. What we'll do is we'll actually just get out of this quickly. We'll run away from this. Alright, Sins of a Stellar Empire, you go away. Now what that means is we'll have a look at C_hero. How does it feel to be shouting at myself? Fantastic. I just absolutely adore it. I often shout at myself at work as well. So let's take a look at C_hero Ducat. We'll have a look at his code very quickly. You can see here that he's got something in the ability 4 slot, which is ability Dom Speed, excuse me. That actually, in the event that you choose the Dominion, your Gul Ducat himself will get faster, significantly faster in fact. I don't know what that is. Let's get rid of that. That was something I was disseminating to the crew earlier. Close all but this. So your ship will get significantly faster so it can keep up with the Dominion fleet. That's the intent behind it. That's why that's there. And that's why it causes a load of really irritating errors. But what we wanted to do is we wanted to find a particular piece of research. Now I'm going to presume it's going to be C_research. Now I'm suspecting it might be called Target Banks. Target Bank, there we go. My God, I've got a memory. Right, so here we go. This is what the Target Bank research is. We can see right now the HUD icon is K_research more than one target, which of course effectively denotes a Klingon symbol. We're happy with it, but now that we know what it is, we'll be able to get on with it. Now I've pre-prepared a little bit of stuff here, so if I was to open this up, we can see that we've got an image here. This is part of the Star Trek Armada 3 page, and this is an in-game image. And what I'm doing with this in-game image is I've decided to cut this out and use it as our icon. So naturally what you'll want to do is what I did, save it to the desktop, nice and easy. You can see I've got a couple of other tasty little images here, Keswick Hybrid. Very nice. Anyway, that's by the by. So what I've done is I've loaded this image up into Photoshop. I've got the CS6 version. I don't think it's the newest one. And there's a lot of this that I don't need. I just kind of need the ship and part of its phaser bank. So we've cut it out. There it is. Okay. Now you will see that I've got this little box here, which is a 32/47 box. The 47 wide and 32 tall. Now that particular box, yes, I know no pixels were selected. Don't you worry about that. It coincides with this. Now this is our lovely master file. You can see that this is set up right now to have a ship in it. I think that's the Archon, which is a carrier. So, and this is ultimately how it will end up once it runs this action. So what we need to do first and foremost is we'll drag this down here. Go here. And then we're going to drag this image onto that box. Let's... In fact, that could just get look at it. We'll move that back up to where it was. Onto the left-hand side. Now this, we're going to need to make the image a hell of a lot smaller to fit into the box. Let's just press enter. There are probably much more efficient ways of doing this. I never do everything the most efficient way. It's a problem of mine. Let's just make sure that we're happy with the size and consistency of the image. I think I'm quite happy with that. Now, it's going to be about that big, so you can see it does resolve itself in clarity somewhat. It's never going to be perfect, but I'm relatively happy with that. Maybe I can move it to the right just a smidge. I think there's about right. So now we've got the image that we want to use. We know this is selected, but if we take a look at the C upgrade screen, we can see that we've already got ships in here. So let's select the whole thing. We've got several different layers here. We've got a disabled layer, which is this one. Cursor over, this one. Pressed, this one. And normal, which is the one on the left-hand side. Let's just delete the ship, which is in each of those layers. Great. Click back on disabled, and there we have it. So now what we want to do is we want to use this image and put it into each of these boxes. Now, it couldn't be easier, fortunately for us, because we have something called an action. We've got action 1 here, which, as you can see, it sets a particular selection, so selects an area, copies it, moves the current layer, pastes it over and over and over again, and pastes it over itself, and it also runs a set of actions which change the colour very slightly. Really quite simple for us. We're very, very lucky that we created this action early on in the process. So if I click play on the action, what should happen, I hope it happens, is absolutely nothing, because it didn't do what it was supposed to fucking do. Let's remove that. It's supposed to go in there. Move to the right. You stupid thing. Do it. There we go. Had it in the wrong place. But there you go. You can now see that we've got our lovely Cardassian galore firing in several different states. You can see they're slightly different colours as well. With this one has more bloom, this one's a bit brighter, and this one is of course greyed out. That's the icon that we're going to use. It couldn't have been easier, could it? And hello Hydroxide, how you doing, buddy? So all I need to do now is save this as a targa, and then we're going to do the fun bit, which is transferring it onto one of our sheets. And I hate that. So save as targa. We know what this is going to be called. It doesn't really matter what it's called as it happens. So let's call it C underscore target bank. And for ease of access, let's put it in the desktop. Nice and easy for TGA. Save. Save it as 32 bits per pixel. And now we should find it right there. There's the target for it. But let's go back. And now we've got to put it into our textures folder. We have quite a handy texture. So if I was to type A3... we have A3 all buttons 2, and all buttons 3. Now, all buttons and all buttons 2 are both entirely full. Let's just open them up so you can see what they look like. That is sheet number 1. Sheet number 2 is very much the same. It's the same size and the same consistency. I'm doing good. I'm doing good, Hydroxide. Let me just zoom in so you can see some of the buttons. This entire sheet is full of our iconography. And you can imagine just how many we've got as a result of that. Look at that. Look how many there are. This was the bane of... coding this the first time round was the absolute bane of my life. And I absolutely despise doing it. But it is necessary for a good and finished product. Just to show you what I'm talking about, if I was to open this one as well, this is an entirely different sheet with an entirely different set. It's horrible. Absolutely horrible. We've got so many bloody icons. Anyway, that's by the by. What we are really looking for this time round is A3 all buttons 3. So let's open that up. There she is. This one isn't full, which is lovely. You can see these are the 2 newest icons that I've made. And we've got a few other new ones. Lovely various different races here. Anyway, so what we need to do now is open this nice target here. There it is. Now what I tend to do when I'm making these icons is I'll drag this down and then I'll just plop it there. Yep, there it is. Layer 1, Control T, and I can't find it, which is a bit worrying. Hello? It's hiding somewhere. Oh, it's down there, look. Let's move it to where it needs to be. It's probably going to take a little bit of zooming and jiggery. I think I might actually have got that nearly perfect on the first try. So there you go. It's directly behind or below the other Cardassian segment. We can close that now for the target. And here it is. But there's something that we're still missing. We're actually going to merge that down into the background. And we've now got the background selected. Let's go to channels. And if we click alpha, you can see that most of these are quite shiny. They've got a particular thing here on the alpha segment. We need that. So why don't we copy it? I think that's going to be almost exactly halfway. Should we zoom in and check? Yep, I'm going to call that halfway. So if we Control C, scroll down, and Control V, that will create it for us. Now, it's important that we check that we're correct about that. Ooh, we were one off, actually, as it happens, but I don't think that's going to be too much of an issue. Let's just Control V. There you go. That should be okay for us. Yeah, looks like that's probably okay. I do need to draw a little bit of a line here, though. You can see that I've missed one little segment out. So let's do that very quickly. Do that. Grab our pencil. Make sure it's 1. Yep, it is. Opacity's at 100. It's coloured white. And let's just colour this in. This is the lazy shorthand way of doing it. I should have done it right the first time, but you know, we've got the capacity to fix it with great ease, so let's just fix it with great ease without pissing around too much. Whoop. Scroll them to the right. And fill her in. There we go. Alright, we've now got an alpha channel. Why do you need the alpha, Ragey Peep asks? Well, without an alpha, you don't actually see the image in Sins. Now, not everything needs an alpha channel, but what this basically does is it brightens it up so you're able to view the image. And that's why the alpha channel is there. It's partially as a mechanic to make sure that you don't see things that you don't want to see. So just for argument's sake, I don't know if this is the case here, but if I was to click here, you can see that we've got our Borg cube here. This background segment, at least it might be a Borg cube, I don't know what it's actually used for, but this particular segment we didn't want, so we wanted the background to show through it. And if there was an alpha in this section, the background wouldn't show through, it would just show a black block of nothingness. So without the alpha, it allows the background to show through. So that's what the alpha does. It creates a background in order for you to be able to see everything. Yeah, that's right. We might want to hide parts of it. And that's also how you go about making a UI, for example. I'm just trying to think of some of the examples that might be useful. In the Cardassian UI or the Romulan UI, there are some bits that kind of hang down or they point outwards into the middle of the screen. And alpha is the bit that allows them to be shown, whereas nothing else is shown behind them. So that's effectively, you just create the alpha channel where you want things to be seen and you don't anywhere else. Well, let's just see what else we've got here. Sorry if I'm not paying attention, guys. Yeah, hopefully that graphics card will come soon. But basically, we've done everything that we need to here. It is working as intended, so we can just save it as the Targa. A3 buttons 3, that's correct. Do we want to replace it? Yes, we do. 32 bits per pixel. And we're done. We've got the image in place, but it is not coded into the game. So let's go back here. Go. Oh, there we go. It's gone red now, as it should. So let's go STA3 Nemesis and go to Window. Now comes the fun. If we go to A3 Research Brushes, let's try Research Brushes. Could be fun. We can see we've got a couple of recent ones here. Now, this is going to save me a great deal of time, and here's why. We've got our Kessock Heavy and our Kessock Hybrid here. Now, checking this, here's our Kessock Hybrid and here's our Kessock Heavy. So we know, just from experience, that if we look at this, there are certain things that are going to be in the right place. I'll explain these numbers here to you now. So these numbers on the left-hand side, here, 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 and here, they are the x-axis. You can see that these are both 0 focused and normal. Actually, that's wrong. That shouldn't be 0. That should be something else. Probably 47, I think. We'll check that in a little bit. But, yeah, I'm pretty sure that should be 40-something. 99. Yeah, make it 46 or 45. Probably 46. We can test that hypothesis in a bit, actually. But we do know that the other values here are more or less correct. So I think what we're going to do is copy this. Now, the second value, this value, you can see that all these are the same. and this is the Y value. The way that the X value works, X is horizontal value, so if I was to draw from here to here, you can see you've got the W and the H, it's width and height. The X value is the width from the top left-hand corner. So if I wanted to start something at X value 203, it would start right here and then go for as many as you wanted there. The Y value is pretty similar. It's from the top left-hand corner downwards. And luckily for us, we've got a way that we can actually calculate the Y value. Very, very simply, by going here. Now we know where this ends. It ends right there. So let's calculate the Y value from that. Have I got 2 there? No, that was right. So let's go upwards. It should be about 554. So the Y value would start at 554. That's 522, 20, 30, 40, 50. Yep, that sounds about right. So let's grab this, copy it, and paste it here. And because we've got an extra brush, let's move that to 1098 very quickly. I've forgotten what the Y value was now. I think it was 540 something, but we better check again. Usually I write this down when I'm by myself in a corner. Or is it 554? Bloody hell, I remembered 554. So let's change this value to 554. And we need to change all of these corresponding values. So we know that this is the X value. So you can see that this is the disabled one, which is the darkest color. Let's just zoom out. So the darkest color that's on the right hand side is always disabled. And we can see that that starts theoretically at 148 pixels from the top left hand corner. Should we test that hypothesis on one of these top ones? There you go. You can see from the top left hand corner it's 148 pixels. So that's where that one starts. What we might want to do, and what I think would be a very good idea, we could see this one starts at 50 pixels. Now let's just roll on down to the Cardassian ones and make sure that it's still 50 pixels for us. 50 pixels would be what we like to call, that's the focused one, or pressed. Focused, in fact, it is. Yeah, focused and pressed are the same thing. But there we are. Should we leave that at 0? Because we do have pressed correctly. Yeah, we'll leave it. That's fine. Can you not get Connor? He did a lot of this. Yeah, we often bully Connor. We asked him to do icons so many times that it became almost a punishment for Connor to do icons. Bless him. Right, anyway. So, this needs to be called something else. BB means build button. Or it could be a research button. _C, of course, means Cardassian, and our research was target bank. So why don't we just simply call it target bank? Whoops, target bank. There we go. And this is now done. So you can see that we've got 2 more values on this side here. Let's explain those very, very quickly so we don't confuse ourselves. We know that this is the starting X value. So the starting value from the top left-hand corner, moving horizontally to the right. This is the starting value from the top left-hand corner, moving vertically downwards. Now, it stands to reason that these are values for how long it goes, or how wide. The first value corresponds with the leftmost value. So this is how far your the area you're looking at will travel to the right from its starting point. And the second value, rather unsurprisingly, is how far it will travel downwards from its y-axis starting point. You've got a Jeff, have you? Is his name Jeff? That is everything that we need to do. Let's grab BBC target bank and Control-C to copy it, because we're going to need that in a moment. We'll save the research brushes, because we know it's there. We've already updated the brush count, but as we did last time, if we want to check it, we can press Control-F after highlighting the thing that we want to check. Make sure whole word only, match case and wraparound is checked, and press count 1098, 1098. That matches. We know it's right. Now, let's change our HUD icon. Back to the actual research itself, and this is where all the research is coded in. We can see that the HUD icon currently is K research, more than one target. Let's change this to BBC target bank. And we're going to do that here as well. So, we've changed the icon within it. Is it going to work? That becomes the question, doesn't it? Let's load up the game and find out. And see if I've missed a step. Which is possible. Ah, delicious. So when did you say you were going to be getting that graphics card by Viking? You said it might be another 3 days or so. Alright, let's see if it wants to... Yep, there we go, it's fine, it didn't break. Let's go single player. Just a random tiny is fine. Choose the Cardassians and start. We'll have to wait a little while again. Excuse the noise, by the way. I know this is an irritating noise, but I figure we're just having a chat and coding, so it's because I'm not recording a very serious episode, and this is just a little bit of a tutorial session for anybody who wants to learn things. I figure I can get away with this. Hydroxide says, fun. I had no problems with the audio at all, Hydroxide. In fact, I can show you how I did that as well, if you like, today. It's actually a very, very simple process to add audio, so I can... Oh, let's go to the speed builds. So I can show you how I did that. Come on, start the game. You'll notice that load times are really, really slow. At the moment. That's because everything's in rich text. Yes, he did mean the audio he sent me, which I can show him how I put the audio he sent me in. I know I've showed you before, Viking, but I haven't showed everyone else. Right, so let's take a look at our research and make sure that it looks correct. Well, my, that looks attractive, doesn't it? But to make sure that all the buttons are working correctly, let's very quickly do the things that we need to do. A, B, we need instant build times, which is D, we need no slot restrictions, which is F, and we need to give ourselves a buttload of money. So let's change player, and press a load of F, and a load of G. Incidentally, guys, I hope none of you cheat on Sins matches, but what you can actually do, what you could technically do, is load up a Sins match in developer mode and use this to give yourself a load of money and a load of credits. Save it and then load it up as a normal game and carry on playing. So if you ever want to cheat and make it look like you've made tons of money and do all your research really fast, dev mode is your friend. So, it's military research I need, isn't it? Yes. Let's just spam 8 of these.
Construction work is complete.
Oh, yes, I know.
Construction work is complete.
And my.
Our scientists have
Perfect.
developed a new technology.
So, there we go. We've got our additional target banks. Let's just grab the Cardassian Union. In fact, while we're at it, let's just... There are a couple of other bits and bobs. Let's research the Kessock Heavy and the Kessock Hybrid. We do need to build a couple more of these social research stations.
Construction work is complete.
I think that's enough. Let's research our Cardassian Way comma rays. You can see that unlocks the AR-52 comma ray and the Union Doctrine Center. The Union Doctrine Center is, of course, your usual comma ray, which produces culture. The AR-52 comma ray is new. I think we might need coordinate fleet movements with Union allies. Yeah, actually, fair enough. That's not a bad
Construction work is
string.
complete.
So we've now produced this station. Veteran gunnery staff. It's a name that works. Yeah. Is it supposed to have that name? I could certainly change it. In fact, I may do that. But that particular description is correct because it performs the same function as veteran gunnery staff did. That's probably what we did. We decided that the Cardassians needed additional target banks. So we very sneakily just stole the Klingon one and made use of it. I gather that that's what we did, and then we never changed the icon because we're all lazy bastards. But yes, so we've now got this comm array. You can see now that we are able to build the Kessok Hybrid class and the Kessok Heavy. So let's grab a Kessok Hybrid and a Kessok Heavy. I'm not 100% happy with the way that these work at the moment. I want them to spawn at the station, really. I do understand why they spawn where they do. But let's just
increase engine power.
have a look at them. Now, it has been suggested
All decks stand ready.
that the cost on these needs to be increased. We've got deflector modulation, which causes 20% damage retaliation on this. That's still called a Galore class. Oh, Kessok Hybrid, what are you playing at? Well, we'll fix that today as well. Hey, Ragey Peep. How much does the research cost? The research itself for those costs... It doesn't tell me anymore. A lot, though. I didn't make it cheap.
Awaiting your command.
This still needs some nice abilities. We haven't created nice abilities for this quite yet. Because these are very, very new additions. You do get a similar type of addition if you are the Union. You can have Rwantha cruisers, and you can have Jalak Su classes. So you do also get additional Dominion vessels. This is part of the Dominion and Cardassian tweaks or rebalance, if you like, in order to make them a bit more enjoyable to play. And I think these vessels will make it more enjoyable to play both factions, because you'll have a bit of added damage via the Kessok Hybrid and Kessok Heavy for the Unionists, which they were a little bit lacking in, and you'll have more tankiness using the Dominion Rwantha and Jalak Su, so it should be very, very nice. Fingers crossed, he says, famous last words. Right, I'm not going to bother writing on my list right now. My list includes what I need to do. But yes, we've done what we need to do there. Let's come out of game. We know it works, we're happy with that, and we're comfortable with that. Next thing's next. What do we want to do? I've forgotten. Oh, I wanted to show you the sounds. So, one thing that's probably going to be nice and easy for us to do is if I go to Game Info, back into Game Info, press N for NEM, we should be able to find the station that we want. Oh, in fact, even better, if we go to NEM Frigate Brel Drone, NEM_Frigate Brel Drone, this is one of the ships that I put in. We'll just click rename and press Control-C to copy it, and then we'll press P to go to a player. We'll find Player Federation, open that up. This is one of the ways that you can do a little bit of testing. You can see that up here on the players, you've got the planet module info, you've got Titan info, capital ship info, and here we have frigate info. Let's swap this, the Sabre, which is your starting frigate as the Federation, to the Brel drone. Burrell drone. Now that we've done that, we should be able to open the game back up, and we'll be able to test whether the new sounds work. Now, these are lovely sounds that Hydroxide blew. In our last stream, we were talking about sounds. I was talking about putting these drones in. And I joked that we should make R2-D2 bloopy sounds for them. And Hydroxide, bless him, he jumped on that and said, oh, I'll make you some sounds. And I wasn't even sure whether we needed new sounds, but he seemed so happy to do that. I thought, yeah, I'd really love to be able to put some community sounds in. So I said yes, and he very, very quickly, incredibly quickly, so thanks for that, Hydroxide, emailed them to me. So I've put them into the game. So let's go single player. as always, CTA tiny. We've got to play as the Feds this time because we're going to be checking this Brel drone. Do the Kessock ships have the correct torpedo graphics? Yes, I believe they do. But I'll tell you what we'll do. Once we've done this, we'll grab a couple of the Kessock ships and we'll send them into an enemy gravity well and have a look at them. SGI will be worked on again soon, though, as Viking. I mean, you do plenty of work on it already. I think you've got Ace and you've got a number of other developers, so hopefully they'll do their thing. Ragey Peep, you can tell me if you think the Kessock torpedoes are close to what you would expect. So we're just waiting for this to load up. Now, what I was saying earlier is the load times seem really long at the moment because we're in rich text format. When it comes to a release candidate, we always make our build a binary format, which we change all our files into .bin, which are binary files, and they load a hell of a lot quicker in Sins. So you'll find that the load time is probably about a quarter of what it is now. When we do you know what I hate? I absolutely bloody hate the fact that this loading bar is not at the same starting point, or at least equidistant with this box here. I need to change that. I've been meaning to change that for about 4 years now. Anyway, so it's getting off on a tangent. Let's go to frigates. You can see that we've got our Brel drone. It should say Brel drone, really, shouldn't it? That's another string I need to correct. Christ, so many strings. You can see it's been built in here. Now, just for this section, I'm going to turn the music. I'm going to pause the music so we can hear it. And I think what I might also do is sound. Let's go to, I think it's dialogue volume, so let's turn it up.
You honor my house.
That didn't sound right, did it?
You honor my house.
Oh, it's because it's the Brel drone. It's not the attack drone, which is the one that I've changed. Stupid Brel drone.
Give me more power.
I will not give you more power. I wonder if I can change this on the fly. Let's try. This may not work well. This may not work well at all. I don't know if this is wise of me, but let's go NEM Cruiser Attack Drone, because this is the one I have changed at the moment. Does that make it reload? Oh, yeah, maybe. It does. Bloody hell, it changes on the fly. I didn't expect that. Speed the game up a bit. There you go. We have now got our attack drone. All hands brace for crashing. Damn, it didn't crash. Amazing. So let's... That's one of the select sounds. I think there are 2 select sounds. There you go. And then we've got a couple of movement sounds. And then if I tell him to go that way, there's a warp sound as well, a specific warp sound. God, I love this ship. The Katinga class is such a cool design, man. I get pissed off looking at the TNG ships, and I get even more pissed off looking at these bloody ridiculous modern designs. That was the warp sound. Right, let's tell it to attack these, oh god, Zalconian warships, which are going to massacre it. So we've got this low, put up, I'm going to kill it. There you go. So that's the drone sounds that Hydroxide Blue has very kindly donated to us. I think you made them on your phone, didn't you? Isn't it a beepy bloopy that your phone makes? So it's very easy to get sounds when you're looking around for them. But everything else about this is pretty standard. It does have the To Glory, which has got better weapon cooldown. Has thruster control, which increases its turn rate massively. So we'll see as it turns away. Let's click that. Whee! See that it's turning around like a little sausage. And it does have the Tachyon Pulse Beacon as well, which you can see that does a couple of nice things. It disables its engines, but it allows it to find cloaked things. Right, so there we go. I mean, that's, I suppose, unimportant. now what we do need to do before we forget is press Control Z a couple of times and go back to Frigate Sabre and save it. Otherwise, people are going to be pumping out those attack drones all over the shop. You recorded it on your home phone and put it through Audacity. Oh, there you go. So it is surprisingly easy to make these things work. So there we go. That's effectively, we've learnt where we put sound. So if we take a look at the attack drone himself, if we scroll down quite a ways, there they are. If you come down towards the bottom of a ship's entity file, it's NEM Cruiser Attack Drone in this case, you can see that it says number of sounds 4. There are several different things. You've got on attack order issued, you've got on creation, you have on general order issued, on selected, and on start phase jump, which is warp. And you can pop your sounds in there nice and easily. You've got to change this number to reflect the number of them, and then save. That's how you put sounds into the game. There is one more step that you need to follow, which is if we go to sounddialog.sounddata, open that up, you can see that I've put these little sausages in here, which is basically just adding the file path and changing the number to suit. So if I had recorded myself farting, it would probably be G for Gull _fart .og, because I would save it as an OGG file. I would put it in here just like so. So if I copied this little segment, it would be G _fart. Copy it into there and then change that to 1968. There you go. Let's get rid of all of these very quickly before I confuse myself. There. Let's save that. So that's how you add new sound dialogue files. The music's a little bit more complicated, and perhaps we'll go through that in the future if anybody struggles with it. But that is the basic premise of adding new sounds. So once you have a sound, you put the sound itself into, rather unsurprisingly, the sound folder. You create a location, if you like, for the sound in game info sounddialog.sounddata or soundeffect.sounddata. Pop them in, and then you can start adding them to your ships using the name here. Really nice. Yes, this is one thing about Sins that is not unique to Sins, but you do need to always update your numbers. Make sure that these numbers are correct. Otherwise, it will keep trying to read. So if I had this at 1966 right now, it wouldn't read the bottom one. So this one would never get read. It wouldn't understand why it wasn't being read. It would create an error and then it would crash the game. The same thing goes for the entity manifest here. So if you had this number wrong, some of these down at the bottom, they wouldn't read correctly. And that would also crash the game. So it's something that you really need to be on top of. I think that's all I really wanted to discuss with you guys tonight as a quick episode. So we've gone through how to put a button in the game, or at least how SDA 3 does it. But the basic premise does stand regardless. Whether you've got an action or not, you create... for a research button or a build button, you create states, which is 4 different buttons of the same size, slightly different colored. You code them into the window file and whatever brushes folder that you want it to be, A3 research in our case, like so, using all 4 different states or 5 different states, but nobody uses focused because it doesn't actually do anything. And that's about it. Or would you like me to upload your coding video on my channel? I didn't realise you wanted me to do it on my channel. But I'm more than happy to do so, Viking. Hang on. I do wonder why they did that as well. There are certain other games, like Stellaris, for example, it doesn't require you to count everything. So it doesn't require a brush count. Stellaris will just find what's there in the folder and it'll go with it. But a lot of games will just find what's there. This one requires a count of things. Don't really know why that is. Don't know why they've decided to do it that way. But that's what they decided. There you go. Oh, did you send me the video directly? I'm sure you sent me the video on your channel. But anyway, we'll discuss that later on. Right now, I'm streaming, so it's not probably... Anyway, yes, there are a couple of strings that I need to change. I'll probably do that in my downtime because we've looked at strings before, haven't we? Have we looked at strings before, stream? Have we done that? Let me know. Shall I put the music back on? I think I should. There it is. Not advertising iTunes here, but... Come on, stream. Have we looked at strings before? Help me. I can't remember. I've covered it one briefly. Okay, well, I think that's all that we need to do tonight. I just wanted to do a brief stream and change a couple of things that I'd noticed were a problem. Now that I've done that, I'm quite happy to call it a night here. This can be a nice... It's probably, what, 45 minutes thereabouts? A nice, relatively short episode that we can pop on YouTube for modders on modding. So thank you all for joining me and thank you for talking to me this evening. And I will see you all again in the next one, where I think we're going to be discussing the galaxy creation. You're watching Harry Kim getting denied again and again, are you? Good man. I think you should probably watch Worf getting denied again and again, just for, you know, a little bit of balance. Or Wesley getting told to shut up, that's always fun. But yes, as I say, we'll be looking at the Galaxy Forge in the next video. So that's going to be a fun one for everyone. What I'll do is I'll show you how to create a folder for your Galaxy Forge. I'll show you how to populate your Galaxy Forge. And I'll show you how to start making maps on the Galaxy Forge. A lot of you already know, I'm sure, but it's always nice to get a refresher. Maybe you'll all want to start making maps for STA3 or, of course, SGI in the future, and it'll allow you to do so. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching this evening, and I will see you in the next one.